We got Linked. We got our Chrisley. We got Tom. We got Rainix. We got Roast. We got NF Thinker. We got Win First. And we got Noman 1. Nice. All right. On the lag metric side, had a bump on our transaction volume this week, $730. So that takes us up to just over $1,000 in transaction volume. Again, this is with not that many users, but good to see that as we go. In general, we want to get at least 1,000 per user. So per user per month. So something like 250 per week is roughly what we're aiming for. But it's definitely going to be lower at the beginning. But yes, nice to see that as we go. On the lead metric side, we had 4 new users. That's 4 new cards created last week. We realized as we were looking at the data this morning that this includes test cards that we're having created so that we can kind of review the flow. So this will probably stabilize as we get our card programs in place. But the 4 new users, I would suspect a bunch of them are test cards. Progress on the generic card. And I think, how's this going? What percentage would you say?
Percentage-wise, I would say we're creeping into the 95% range. We have a card design which is pretty much approved. We know it's going to work with the template that they sent us, not the one that they sent us in the email. But yeah, we do have a card that has been submitted. It's in the queue for MDES. We've swapped spots, so we're now first in the queue of our projects that we've submitted. And yeah, and in terms of the card specifically, we're as close as we can get without having one physically in our hands.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks for that update. We had 4 returning users last week and no new money in the multi-sig. On the team-wide side, we do need to do our seasonal updates. I do need to update the playbook. Just other things have been more important. But this is something that we can update after we come out of beta. We go into kind of like a public beta from a private beta. Then there'll be a little bit of time, hopefully, to update the playbook. We're also going to try to get our payroll out soon. I know I keep saying this. It's just never that big of a priority, but if you need this, please do let me know, and I'll prioritize it. On the new member side, Noman, I see that you're in the audience, and I know that you've been trying to connect with us. Are you able to speak today, Noman? No, maybe not. Okay, fair enough. We'll go down to our milestone perspective. So this is all about, not really about next raise, it's all about generating revenue. So generating revenue. Okay, so we have launched the POC to the public. On the beta testing side, let's call it private beta testing. We have a new release out onto production, which includes new card images with the MasterCard logo. This was for some people who didn't know if it was Visa or MasterCard. Transaction sort orders, including new treatment of auth and settle transactions. Do give some feedback on that. I'm not super... we are looking at how to make those transactions as easy to consume as possible. So take a look at that when you get a chance. Debug menu, actually most of you shouldn't be able to see this, but if you're interested in what it is, feel free to let me know. This only really works on staging, but yep. Card status changes. This is around, you get a new card, you have to activate it, that kind of thing. 5-digit zip codes. We were sending, what Google is sending us was sometimes 9-digit zip codes. So we've gotten down to 5-digit zip codes. This is needed for Apple Pay. User fees in the onboarding and support site. This was required for compliance. Brand new support site links. So there are some links into the support site which are with our new one, so it's kind of ready for new users. New analytics that Tom put on our transaction server and initial cut of rewards. This still needs work. We are working on it as we go. Our next priorities are to get some new users, already distributed to 3 bankless DAO users, work on the add funds flow. This is kind of the most pressing issue based upon our user test. Our rewards flow needs some work, which I'll discuss a little bit below, and feedback in the app itself. I'm going to be sitting with Blue Bear hopefully today to get him on our shared tally and support site so we can get some feedback going. On the rewards flow side, we had a little bit of a hiccup around how Privy is storing their EOA wallets. we are using these EOA wallets to kind of allow people to claim their rewards. So it's kind of important that we get the right wallet address, but we're looking into it as we speak. On the UX side, ZDBear gave us a UX review. I haven't had a chance to process it quite yet, but that will be something that we work on from UI UX perspective to improve. On the new card, our card design is approved and submitted to the printer. Actually, we just talked about this, so I'll skip over. On the content funnel side, Reynes, are you able to give us an update on the content?
Me and Coffee finished the co-marketing framework. It is basically ready for when we start any co-marketing effort with any other partnership. It's just a template to outline all the necessary information that is needed to create, and we have created one for BDAO, and Coffee is creating one for Nouns for when we start communication with each of partners. Marketing departments, and on the content funnel side itself, we have still in the process. We have a lot of information gathered together to how we want to proceed with each platform, each format, each way, and it's we're hoping to finish that next week.
Okay, what content each channel should have. And what about the website, Reynes?
Andy has a mini draft with the design. He's still working on it. He's not that fast because he's learning. But he got some tips from Brett yesterday to implement, and he keeps working on it. And in the meantime, me and ZDBear and Coffee Grocer are working on the content for the website, which is also in the process.
Nice work. Thanks for that update. Appreciate it. Okay, we have set up our community funnel. And I think any updates on this?
No main update, no big updates on the community funnel. Just still plodding along on that.
Sweet, sounds good. On the Raise 200K, on the accelerator side, apply to OrangeDAO. A16Z is upcoming. Or actually, I feel like maybe you applied to that one, and I think I'm not quite sure. A16Z?
No, I did not apply to that one. That I did have on my list of things to do.
Okay. On the grant side, we applied to RNDAO, and I'm working on a Nouns X Farcaster proposal. So I'm working on a proposal to get 100K for a 3-month sprint. Anyone who wants to help, reach out to me. We're going to try something different with this 100K. We're probably going to try to give it, I think we're going to be obligated to give it completely to the project team. Maybe not obligated, but we're going to try to give it completely to the project team who's working on this. Maybe pulling out some cut, for our general treasury, but most of it for the project team that's working on this. So if you want to get involved, let me know. I'm working on the spec right now. If you go into the bCard general channel, you can kind of see some of the ideas I've started with, but I'm hoping that we get a chance to discuss it today. So we shall see. App is out with a new brand in it, so deployed our new brand. The last big thing is the website, which Reynes, Andy, Coffee Crusher, ZDBear, and Brett are working on. And we also have a bunch of small things, including our old product URL. Taxman and the Vault are both using banklesscard.xyz, which is fine, but we do want to move them over when we can. Not as big a deal, but yes, we shall work on these as we can. On the task perspective side, I'm going to move over to Asana. For the role salaries on the project champion and ops work teams lead side, I definitely did that. Reynes, did you spend at least 5 hours on bCard in the last week?
Yeah, I'm still correcting myself on that as well when I speak about bCard. bCard it's a
Yeah, that's true. Me too. How about you, NF Thinker?
Yes, I did.
Did you spend at least 5 hours on bCard?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Coffee did too because we spoke about what she had been doing. So I'm going to move this out of the all team projects. And I have to ask Coffee about that too, but I'll just move it out for now. These are milestones and goals, which we just talked about. We have our projects here. We are done updating the brand graphical assets to bCard. I'm going to mark this as complete. What do you think, Reyes?
We're still working on the post-hero images.
Okay, I'll leave it in then. I'll put it into this week. All right. Blocked waiting needs feedback. Nouns prop house. We're going to wait until we're in at least public beta for this. Change our org email so use new domain. Just hasn't been a big thing yet. This actually, we need to pay the Panama yearly filing. So this is on me now. But I will. So it's in the accounting inbox. All right. All right. So I'm going to need to get that for you. NF Thinker, maybe if you have a chance today, you and I can look at it, and I'll try to rope either Sam or Israel in as well so that we can pay this. Ultimately, okay, great. Yeah, ultimately, I wanted to. I was going to pay it personally, and then get reimbursement from the multisig. But the multisig has USDT, and so I was like, oh well, we may as well just pay it using that USDT. All right. We have a generic bCard for new communities. We're waiting on the printer for this, as we said. Apply for Org Style Fellowship. We applied. Now we have to see when the next thing, whether or not we get approved. The World Needs Communities. This needs to be reviewed. I don't know, Reyes, have you taken a look at this yet? The World Needs Communities? Reyes, you're muted.
Yeah, I did take a look. To my English writing skills, it looked interesting to read and good to post. But Coffee took a look and she said she has some comments and she said she will add them this week.
Awesome.
So
great.
I'm not very well versed in articles and how to judge them, so I'm not really comfortable in commenting anything.
Okay, fair enough. Well, it's good that Coffee Crusher's on it. All right. Next up, we have, so we're at the top of the list here, Panama Yearly Filing. We're going to try to get this done today if we can. But I will reach out to the multisig to try to set up a thing. We talked about the update brand graphical assets. I won't say it's the most important thing. I'll stick in the middle here for now. Kraus House, what's going on here?
I have not heard back from them at all, so I'll give him a little ping and see if he's still alive.
All right. Get back from them. Little ping. Cool. I'll move it a little bit further down the list then. Adjustments to the ad funds flow. Yeah, this is pretty important. I do want to work on it this week, but I do think that the nouns. Did I make a task for this? Nouns X forecaster? No. I'm going to go ahead and add grant nouns X forecaster. Success criteria. Create a proposal to submit to nouns X forecaster. And we will talk about it today, but I'll just go ahead and stick. Where did I put it? Nouns forecaster. Here it is. Boom. Okay, so it's right here. So I'll do my best on this, and it's this week. Just under the Panama yearly filing. Adjustments to ad funds flow. Ad fees in the onboarding and support site. This is actually done. So it's done. And it is done on this side too. I'm going to leave it in the done section and allow our product team to knock it out, as I think the team who created it should get to close it. Deploy NOGS token. So for us to get NOGS from NNS, I feel like well, we shall see, Anna Thinker, but it seems like he's okay with sending us some NOGs. I realized as well when I signed into the dashboard that I have like 900,000 NOGs. I don't know if you staked your NNS, but you probably have some as well.
Okay, yeah, I did stake my NNS. 900,000 NOGs, that's a big haul.
Yeah.
I know because you staked your NNS like a week or so before I did, you got an extra tranche, which I didn't get. Which was a much larger portion. So I don't know if that's reflective of the NOGs that you can claim as well on there. But yeah, I haven't signed into the dashboard, so I haven't checked that out.
Yeah, check it out. I'm sure a couple 100,000 at least is waiting for you, right? And In general, I'm not too worried about us having enough nogs to kind of launch. So let's just say that in deploying the nogs token, Tom, if we need more, I got more.
It's good to know. Let's get those rewards issued.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so I'm going to put this a little bit lower since it's not as scary anymore. Beta app, we're still working on this. Now we're going to be getting, because we just put a new prod release up, I'm going to try to get at least 10 to 20 new users with Bluebear's help on this. So we will work on that. Let's just create another thing here. Get 10 to 20 new users and put it into the product weekly. Success. Get 10 to 20 new users in the app. Get their feedback in some way. All right, here we go. Okay. New on-ramp provider. It looks like Unlimit is I would say we're not quite there with Unlimit. They don't have the product that we need quite yet. What would you say, Anna Thinker?
Yeah, I agree. They don't quite have the product that we need yet, but that could change soon. They talked about having what we need towards like end of Q2, possibly beginning of Q3. So if we can put off the card load, the crypto card load until then that could be a solution. Alternatively, you mentioned potentially working with Coinbase as an on-ramp provider. So that could be another option.
Yeah, I know someone at Coinbase Institution. I'll talk to them about it, and we shall see. Yeah, so doink. I'll add this to my. Oop, I added it to you by accident. Add it to myself. And I'll just put this in the ops weekly so I don't forget it. All right. Success criteria. Talk to contact at Coinbase Institutional. Try to figure out how we can on-ramp funds. I'm sure that they have like some minimums or something like that, but we shall see. All right, write an article for PCI compliance. Any updates on this? Corrupted. All right, update website. We did get a quick update from you on this, but I will put it in here. Andy is working on the design with help from Brett. Rainus, Coffee, Zudi are working on the content. All right, nice. Write an FAQ. Well, let's just say he's blocked by me. So next step, we'll need to sit with Blue Bear to get him access. I'm going to try to set up a time today, actually, to get that out. We talked about deploying the NOGS token. We talked about Krausehouse. We talked about brand graphic assets. POC launch campaign is ready. I see that you added the co-marketing campaign here. So thanks for that update. Video content. How's this going, Rainus? Rainus, you're muted. I don't know if you know that.
No, just getting my phone out of my pocket. It takes a few seconds. Video content. Well, Andy has gotten a first view from the brainstorming session, but his focus is all in the website right now. So I'm not, because we need the website is a higher priority. I'm not bugging him about the videos at all. Currently, I let him work on the website. But nevertheless, my view is that by making the design of the website, he will understand way more about the structure of bCard, and he will be way better equipped to do videos after this little project of his.
All right, nice. So I'm just going to put this down a little bit since it's not as important right now. Subscriber bi-monthly newsletter. I know that this is going on. Next email is in a draft phase. And March wrote it, and a thinker edited it, Coffee will ship it. That's about accurate? All right. Cash flow for POC. How's this going, Arcusy?
I guess I've got some questions around like the share between the community and bCard and value of accrued claims and things like that. So maybe we can discuss it tomorrow at the ops call.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think in general, a lot of that stuff is still up in the air, and we want to make sure that it actually works for people. But yeah, we're going to do some experiments around using revenue as contributor rewards, essentially. So we'll talk about how that could work, and then do a little projection. I think that projection will be good for. The hope is that we can share it with our team, and everyone understands what we need to do to quote unquote win. And then we can share it outside the team with people like potential patrons, with people even like our users or anyone who's looking into bCard to kind of see like, oh, this is how this organization works. I think like when you're looking at a quote unquote fiat organization, the top level way that people look at it is from like the business cash flows. So that's the intent behind this.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Christy. I went to this update cash flow to discuss at ops tomorrow. All right. Transcendence, how's this going, NF Thinker?
Yeah, I heard from Alan. He said that they have a video which is ready to share, but he hasn't sent it across yet. So I've asked him for that. I think he's probably just either exporting it or getting it ready to ship. He has asked us if we can do the audio again. So I was going to reach out to you, Drost, and see if that's something that you would be interested in working on again.
I'm sorry, I was reading something. Can you repeat that, please?
So Transcendence has another video that they're about to deliver. It's the bull with the nogs and our bunny corn. And he's asked if we would be able to do the audio for it.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that last one was dope and had great street noises and stuff. So I don't know what this one would be like because it's not an AR video. It's a full virtual video. So we can be a little bit more creative with the audio if that was something that you wanted to do, or we can just play around with it and see where we go. But yeah, that is update for Transcendence.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, no problem.
March patron update email. This is actually kind of important. I'm going to put it up right here under Nouns X Farcaster because I want to get that patron email up and out. So yeah, I'll put it as, let's say by this time next week, it really should be out the door. Okay. I spoke to Raincard. There is something that they can help us with in general. Like, I think that they could be a potential partner for us, but not quite yet. They have two tiers. They have a tier that is a developer tier, which costs $6,000 and doesn't include any interchange revenue, which is kind of what we got with Transcard already. The only difference is that they would be worldwide, but again, we wouldn't be making money on it, so it would be difficult for us to use them. And then they have an enterprise tier, which starts at like tens of thousands of dollars and a 4-year commitment. They are creating a new tier, which is kind of in the middle. So we'll see. In general, there's a lot of card issuers that we could work with, so it's good for us to have relationships with them. The nice thing about Raincard is that they are crypto native. Full docs. Here we go. Here is our meeting minutes. For now, this doesn't need to be on this list anymore. I'm going to put it into the ops weekly, and we'll talk about it there, what to do with it there. But I don't think it needs to be in the all team projects now, because I don't plan on following up with them anytime soon. Basically, in a couple months, we may be at the point where we can work with them if we want to. All right. So that's kind of it. Anything else that we're working on that's not reflected on this this week board? All right, great. Well, why don't we go into what we shipped last week? So I didn't fill this in as much as I would hope, but I know lots of people shipped this stuff this week, so let's have at it. First of all, Tom and I shipped a production update. There was a bug on production. I fixed that. I also shipped fee pages for compliance and onboarding support site. Anna Thinker and I chatted with Raincard about potential partnership and costs. Anna Thinker and I met with Unlimit re-off-ramp. Anna Thinker met with NounsDAO relaunching. Links created some assets for the Nouns X Farcaster grant. Andy created a draft design for the new website. Rainus, Zudi, and Coffee working on copy. Rainus and Coffee shipped the co-marketing template / plan. And I think they met with Magneti. Oh, I thought that was today. All
Yeah,
right.
that's the follow-up is today.
Oh, okay. Now I'm starting to get it. Who else shipped stuff this week? Anyone else? Anyone want to volunteer anything that they shipped this week? Okay. Well, I'm sure it was
March. Yeah, March shipped
Oh, yeah.
an email draft.
draft email for subscribers. And if Thinker shipped some edits on it.
I guess you could say production dashboard
Oh yeah. Shipped
and
production
rewards, claim
analytics
fixes, I guess, or
dashboard.
it's not really done though.
Shipped some rewards fixes. Still needs work. All right. Anything else that we shipped this week? All right. Well, it's a good week. Even so, I'm going to go down to NounsX Farcaster. I could really use some. I've been thinking about this, but I could really use some, let's say, feedback from people on the thoughts here. So I started looking at the idea behind NounsX Farcaster, and I will go ahead and bring this in here, is that the Nouns community is pretty decentralized. They don't have things like a centralized Discord, even. Like, it's not like BanklessDAO, which has a central Discord. They actually went ahead and shut down their central Discord because they thought that it was creating pockets of power. So I think that's really interesting, right? So I would say that the Nouns crew is very decentralized, and what they wanted to do is invest some money into exploring what it could look like for their DAO, NounsDAO, to have a communication, an app communication, like a central communication hub. And well, guess what? That's exactly what our long-term vision for bCard is. It is a way to get into a community and feel the vibe without having to know anything about crypto, right? An easy way for anyone to get involved and touch that community and slowly integrate themselves into that community. So I think this is a really good grant for us because it allows us to spike a solution for a single community, NounsDAO. Do you guys understand what I mean when I say spike a solution? Okay, I'm going to assume no.
Does it involve the Iggy Shuffle?
No, it does not involve the Iggy Shuffle. It's essentially spiking is like I guess like it's an agile software development term, which is probably why it's worth defining. And it's really just creating a narrow set of functionalities to kind of test how something could work. And so for us, we could create an app for NounsDAO, which tests a lot of those things that we've said that we wanted to do. For instance, voting within an app. But what about things like an auction within an app? These are some of the things that we wanted to integrate into bCard in the long run, and maybe we'll get a chance to do it as part of this grant. So that's what this is all about. It's very open-ended, and so when I started to look at how we can do this, like, first of all, the proposals that are up there right now, there aren't many good ones. There are like 10 up there, and at least half of them, I think, are throwaway ones right now. So, if 3 teams are winning, we have a very good chance to win this. That's the first thing. And another thing is that a lot of them are just very focused on Farcaster. Like, they're 100% focused on Farcaster. I think, like, our approach could be to tie all of those nouns ecosystems in, a way for all kind of nounish communities to be involved. So here's what I started with, and I would love to get some feedback on it. But essentially, when you come into the app, the idea is that the app is completely open, and so when you come in, this would just be like a blank screen, or like a generic user thing like that. It wouldn't show your NFT or anything like that. If you're not signed in, you would essentially see contribute and communicate. Contribute, this would be a place where you could have things like Farcaster frames to vote on proposals, or to bid in an auction. Okay. And so you can see, like, this is the very general idea. This is just a Farcaster frame here, which is what they use at Yellow, at the Yellow Collective, which is a nounish DAO, to bid on their nouns. Okay, so that's one thing. And then that is the contribute side. I was going to put more frames and such in there. And then we have the communicate side. And so this is where we would get something like a Farcaster feed. But the idea being here that nounishness, whatever that means, would be more prominently displayed. So you can see noun 40 here, they have a noun, they're a member of Little Nouns, they're also a member of the Yellow Collective here. And this really gets into this idea of a nounish identity. And so if you click on the profile screen here, this is what your kind of nounish identity looks like. So here's my Little Nouns at the top, here's my NNS links.nogs. I have 13 NFTs and 18,000 nogs. You can see here each of the kind of nounish communities: nouns naming service, nogs, NARS, Lil Nouns, Builder DAO, Yellow Collective. These are all nounish DAOs, nounish communities. And if you click on one of these, it kind of opens a little thing about that community and links out to that community itself. The real key, and you can see it shows all the NFTs that one might have here. So here's 2 of my builder tokens. And so you can see the idea being that we would be linking out to a lot of these nounish communities, like, kind of liberally. So here, go to the auction, it could show in an in-page frame, or users could get out of that frame to, like, potentially open that in their own browser of choice, that kind of thing. The idea being that, like, for each one of these contribute actions, it links out to that community. Another thing that could be here is, hey, get an NNS. You don't have an NNS, so why don't you go buy one? That's another thing that we could do. Oh, hey, you have 18,000 nogs to claim. Go ahead and claim now by going to the dashboard, right? So this could link out to the NNS dashboard, which increases the functionality of this app without us having to do a lot of work. It integrates directly into what they're doing, would be the idea. And another thing related to that is, okay, well, I'll stop there because I've been talking a lot, but how do you guys feel about this general idea?
I think there's a lot of correlation between the things that we want to do. We're all about helping people find utility for their tokens, and this incorporates a lot of those ideas. So overall, yeah, I really love the idea. Have you had any feedback from people outside of our community specifically?
No, I worked on this just last night. I stayed up late working on it, just to try to get some ideas flowing. Now that I have some of these, like, kind of like this contribute and communicate, like, just this tiny little thing here took me like fucking forever to figure out how I wanted to say that, and I still don't feel it's quite right. But now that I have, like, some framework for this, what I'm going to do is create a bunch of, like, these kinds of things, like showing the frames or whatever, and then show people based upon that. So for instance, our partner at NNS, Dom, I would love to show him a version which has claim your NNS now, you a non-NNS person, or you have 18,000 nogs to claim those nogs now, and then, like, kind of showing how it would look in the dashboard, and then sending that to him. Same with Seneca and Nouns 40 and Chris Carella and Nounish Prof. Nounish Prof is part of BuilderDAO, so I would like to show her some of these with like BuilderDAO into it, and then ask for that feedback based upon that kind of thing. That's kind of my next step. I'm also deciding how to put this. I was kind of thinking maybe I should come up with a draft for this first, which I was hoping to do today, and then go and get feedback immediately from at least 3 Nouners.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And especially going to all the different Nounish communities, because they are the ones who do have a direct incentive to make something like this work.
Exactly. And I think, like, I mean, if you look at what's up here right now, it's all, I mean, some people I think are sincere, but a lot of these are kind of cash grabs. So I think that a lot of these, I mean, even the serious ones, they're really just saying like, hey, here's our real thing, right? And I mean, there's nothing compelling about this. It shows like nouns, props, and stuff like that. But it's really just, it's really like governance support for Nounish DAOs, Farcaster support. It's kind of like, there's not a lot here, right? Like, I think like for us, if we can capture an idea with some of these pictures and show it to them, people love to see themselves, right, in the thing that they're seeing. So if we show this to people and show their communities in it, hey, here's the Yellow Collective. Boom, you click that, you go to the Yellow Collective website. And showing how that looks, I think it's going to be easier for us to capture people's hearts and minds. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. What about looking into maybe recently passed proposals and seeing how we could integrate their initiatives into the app? Not just necessarily chat, but like updates on the proposals, reporting your KPIs. I know people don't necessarily like KPIs isn't specifically a thing, but updates on like allowing people to have a portal where they can update their proposal, even all the way down to the smaller garden rounds. Like, you know, you've been granted 1 ETH. What have you done with it? Hey, this is what I've done. Releasing community updates, engaging with the community in that way.
Yeah, so the nice thing is that there are actually Nounish projects that are doing this already. And what we could do is, again, hook into those projects. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but there's a couple dashboards for like Nounish projects that got funding, and then you can update them. So what we can do is like basically anything that hooks into another system, I think, like another product. I was thinking of putting into this kind of contribute space, right? And so if there's a call to action for you, contribute. If there's like only like, hey, I need to I want to like get updates on it, you're just reading. But if you can like an update or something like that, that would go on the communicate side. So there's something there, but to figure out how it should work exactly, like I guess like this contribute communicate dichotomy, that's a thing that I made because I think it might work nicely with that kind of Nounish, like it's very decentralized. Maybe that abstraction won't hold up as I look into more Nounish communities. But yes, I completely agree that we need to do these things. And the idea around specifically proposals is that in contribute, there will be something like vote or read a proposal, and then there'll be like a link in here to a Farcaster discussion about that proposal. So basically creating in this communicate side like a thread of people talking about proposals, or links to prop house discussions about proposals. But the idea would be to collect them in some way. So like if you are in prop house and you are commenting on a proposal, you can actually comment in long form and that kind of stuff. So what we want is a way to attach that to the proposal itself. That's what we're going to need to, and that is a yet to be figured out UI UX challenge. But that's something that I wanted to do in both the contribute and communicate sides. In contribute, it's kind of like vote, and then there'll be a link to the discussion. And in the discussion side, which would be on communicate, there would be like a way to collect all these disparate discussions. Hey, it's happening on Farcast, or hey, it's happening on Prop House, and put them into one place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lovely. Nice.
Any other feedback on this? Hey, Zooty Bear. Hey, Brett. How you guys doing? I'm gonna pop you guys up here. I know that you probably didn't hear when I was talking about the Nouns X Farcaster thing, but do you guys know anything about it?
I know absolutely nothing about it.
Do you know what Nouns DAO is?
I know it's one of the DAOs that we work very closely with.
Mm-hmm. So Nouns is probably one of the more successful DAOs in that their whole thing is one noun a day forever. Basically, they have an auction every day. If you go to nouns.whatthefuck.wtf, I always call in my head nouns.whatthefuck, but yeah, nouns.wtf. They have a noun every day. This one's taking a while to load. One noun every day forever, and their whole thing is proliferate the meme. So you can buy a noun, and then with the money you got it, you see they have a 5,000 ETH treasury. There are proposals. So you can see future Disney princess wears noggles to build wells in Africa. That starts in, like, here's make Austin nounish. You can see that there is 45 for, 25 against, and you can see that they are asking for a 51 ETH grant to fund development of basically, this is the proposal.
Of a skate park with Bob Burnquist.
Interesting. Okay, I never even know this one.
I don't know if it's going to pass.
Anyways, well, I don't want to get too deep into the governance here, but this group has spawned so many other groups. So like nouns.build, for instance. Nouns.build. Here's another nouns thing, and they basically make it easy to create a nounish DAO, like with auctions and everything. And then they also created things like NNS, right? Like there is NNS.xyz nouns naming service. Add the legendary noggles to your Web3 identity, so you can see this is what it looks like. Here are the nounish. This is like an ENS for nouns. These are just two, but there's a ton of them. And the idea that they're saying is essentially with this Nouns X Farcaster, they don't have any centralized place where everyone hangs out. They're on Twitter, they're on Farcaster, they have separate Discords, and this was by choice. This was by design by the founders. They call them the Nounders. They said stuff was getting too centralized and too many people were getting social power, so they shut down their centralized Discord and they said, no, we don't want that. If the Nouns, they said very famously, if Nouns doesn't survive this, then it was never a neutral protocol to begin with. That was 2 years ago, and Nouns is still going strong. But, that being said, they've started to see some cracks in that people can be in one aspect of the Nouns community and never see anything else that the rest of the Nouns are doing. So they decided, someone passed their proposal in that Nouns forum, that Nouns proposal builder that I showed you, to do an exploration. 3 teams, 3 months, 100K USDC each, and they want to explore ways for the Nouns community to communicate with each other. Basically a cross-Nouniverse communication platform. And the great thing is this is exactly kind of like what our long-term plans are. And so that's what we're trying to do here. I started writing proposal, and what I really started getting into last night was looking at some of these, like looking at the UI UX for some of this. I broke it down into communicate, contribute, and your nounish identity, which is kind of up here. Honestly, maybe I should put your identity over here, but even so, identity, contribute, communicate. The idea is communicate will be things like your Farcaster feed or things from Pop House, and the idea is that your nounish identity is up front, and also the algorithm would be using a bit of your of how nounish you are to kind of boost posts. If a lot of nouns like a post, chances are that it is a nouns-worthy post, and it should be shown in this feed. And on the contribute side, a lot of these nouns DAOs, a lot of these nounish DAOs, they have auctions, so those auctions could be in here. There's going to be proposals. Those proposals could be in here. There are things like, hey, you should get an NNS, or hey, you should get a nouns card. That one thing I didn't put in this, but it's something I should add, is a nouns card should be part of this down here, US only. And you should be able to get a nouns card here and then kind of see the status of that as you go. Yeah, so that's kind of the intent behind this. And for this identity, you can see here's my lil nouns here. You can see my NNS. I have 13 NFTs and 18,000 nogs. 1 noun, 2 nouns naming service, 18,000 nogs, 1 nar, 2 lil nouns, 6 BuilderDAO tokens, and a yellow collective. And if you click, one thing I think is unique about this versus others is that others are all talking about kind of really focused around Farcaster. For us, I would really like for us to focus on driving traffic to these other Nounish sites. So in here, you click on BuilderDAO, it shows your BuilderDAO tokens, and you can go to nouns.build. In the contribute side, there should always be a way for you to, you see this collective noun from yellow, figure out a way to get to yellow or interact directly there. Anyways, I've said a lot, explained it again. Thoughts from anyone? Tom, I see you unmuted.
Yeah, I think it looks great, Links. I just wanted to mention that you forgot to add the link to the bCard in the list of Nounish projects.
Yeah, this is something I realized just as I was going to bed last night, so I didn't quite finish it, but I will add that.
Yeah, no worries. I figured it was on your radar.
Couple of loose thoughts. Just I like the idea of things that help aggregate and curate. I think that's, I'm sure we're all hearing about it, but yeah, I think curated content and then trying to, as I was listening to you describe about all the disparate nouns communities and not being able to share information, have silos, I got to say, it reminded me a lot of Bankless DAO and all of our separate groups. It's like, gosh, these sounds like a lot of the same problems we've had. But yeah, so I think the direction looks really cool, and allowing them to discover each other. I think it's super important. I think that's, like I said, it's one of the problems we've had.
I like how quick you put this together, Links. A lot of people would kind of sit and think about it and this, that, and the other, but you kind of just executed quickly. I think that's what it's going to take to get that $100,000 grant, is someone just putting this out there real quick and refining it after, it's reviewed and whatnot. So kudos to you for getting that together so fast.
I appreciate that, and the truth is I was agonizing over this for the last couple days.
It's better than agonizing for the last couple months, right?
So you mentioned there that you focused on mainly the noun side of this. Could you maybe just go over what you think some of the Farcaster integrations are, or what you have in mind for that?
I think the key for us on the Farcaster side, first key is like making your Nounish identity front and center. That's just missing. That's never going to happen in Warpcast, right? Like you get a little noggles in the nouns channel, but that's it, right? But you want to know in a nouns focused thing, you want to know everyone's Nounish identity. And so like that's what all of these little things are for. You see noun 40, right beside you see noggles, little nouns in yellow. The idea being that like it's actually encouraging people just by showing what communities people are in. It's actually going to encourage them to want to be involved in those communities, right? Like I think like if noun 40 sees someone with like an NNS and they don't have one, and that person has like more badges than they do, they're immediately going to be interested in like, oh, what the heck is this badge, right? So that's the kind of first thing, is bringing your Nounish identity front and center. I think the next thing is connecting disparate things into that Farcaster feed. So this is going to be not really on an app side as much as like kind of like a connection side, like things like immediately when someone posts a proposal, to create a discussion thread about that proposal in Farcaster, and then linking to that in a easy to view way in this communicate tab. So let's say there's a proposal 40, right? Immediately proposal 40 like our system looks on chain, it sees that proposal 40 is being created, and it immediately posts something in a noun channel that proposal 40 is created. Actually, FYI, there's already a bot that does this, so we don't actually need to do this part. Or if you are a nounish person and you do hashtag proposal 40, it automatically groups that with the rest of the proposal 40 chatter. So you can open a top level discussion on your Farcaster talking about proposal 40, and as long as there's some way for us to link that to the rest of proposal 40, when you come down here and to contribute, and you're like, hey, look at this discussion, you click on the discussion, it takes you to the communicate side, and all of the stuff to do with proposal 40 is in one place for you to find, like some way for you to filter looking at proposal 40. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. And that's one thing I like about using Yup is I can have Farcaster information and Twitter information. It's all aggregated into one place. So what I'm hearing you say now is that anytime somebody posts about, if, for example, proposal 40, that will go to a place, doesn't matter where they post it, in Warpcast or on Supercast or on Yup, it will all aggregate and be visible within a certain channel directly within our app.
Exactly. That's the idea, at least. It's not going to be like a channel per se, as much as like it could be. You could think of it as a channel, right? Channels don't exist in the Farcaster protocol. They only exist in Warpcast. So that's something that we can essentially like create on our side, something similar to channels. Anyone who posts anything related to Proposal 40 will be in the Proposal 40 hashtag or something like that, right? I think as well, another thing to go back to your original question is a custom algorithm for nounish people. So things like there are 2 posts. One was liked by 1,000 people, but no nounish people. And one was liked by 200 people, but, many nounish people. That 200 like thing should be shown higher than a 1,000 like thing that doesn't have many nounish people liking it. So this custom algorithm, based upon probably how many NFTs you have, how many nogs you have, this algorithm is going to need to be changeable, right? So I'm not going to say what the algorithm is actually going to need to be, but the idea being that on both, like in the communicate side and on the contribute side, we need some kind of algorithm to show what is coming up. So for instance, if there's a vote that's ending in 1 day and it's like the most timely vote, that should probably show at the top of contribute, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and less of a reputation score, more of an impact score.
Exactly. So that's the basic idea behind it, is kind of those 3 things. That's how we make it nounish with Farcaster. And a lot of people are saying that, oh, we'll have an algorithm, right? Like a lot of people in their proposals, they're focusing on Farcaster. I think what we should really do is focus on the nounish communities, and then just kind of like, how can that work with Farcaster?
Mm-hmm. Yes, very true, because the people who are voting on this are all going to be nouns holders.
Exactly. Well, actually, I don't know about that. Is it? Is it's the nouns or other? Let's see. It's on Prop House. Who votes? Owners. Oh yeah, of delegates of nouns. Yeah, you're right. So owners are delegates.
Nouns token, which are the main token. So
exactly. But a lot of the delegates are people who started things like Builder DAO or Yellow DAO. Like a lot of the delegates are, like, they're the ones who are part of these nounish communities. So yeah. All right. Well, I really appreciated that feedback. If you have any feedback or you want to help me on this, feel free. This proposal is due Sunday, so that's why I kind of put it at the top of the list. I am simultaneously not wanting to spend too much time on it and also wanting to make something really good. So, let's just say I'm walking that line. And so any help appreciated. And yeah, appreciate all the feedback as well. That's definitely going to help me. So yeah, I see we're at the end of our time. Just want to take the last 2 minutes, just as a little bit of gratitude. We got a lot going on. All of us are kind of working on this on our on our side. But the big thing about DAOs, the great thing about DAOs is that you can be involved with something even if you're not working on it full time, even if you're just pitching in here and there, and you are still part of the team. I think that that's a really important thing to note. People can come and go in a DAO as they please, and the idea, the hope for me is that means that it forces our organization to be better. It forces our organization to be more interesting, to be more kind, to be a kind of place where you actually want to put in your effort. I think that as a result, we do move slower than a traditionally financed community or traditionally financed organization, and I think we have the potential to be more resilient than a traditionally financed corporation. I think a lot of you know that I'm here to create the next generation organization. It's not going to be easy. Definition of a next generation organization is essentially an organization that no one has seen before. But we have done so much without acting like a traditionally financed corporation. So I just want to thank all of you for being here. When we started this 2 years ago, we didn't think that we would get to this point. We hoped, but we didn't know where it would take us. But I'm really positive about where this is going. We have lots of opportunities. We have a product out. Well, we have multiple products out, including Taxman, Vault, and the card now too. We have some goodwill from our communities, and we are just pushing forward every week. So remember, we are not in a rush. We are just making incremental progress, and in doing so, I'm hoping that we will build the kind of community that we all want to be part of. So thank you, one and all, for building it with me. I could never do this alone. I can only do it with people, and honestly, this is the best group of people that I would love to work on this with. So thank you, everyone, for all the time and effort you're putting in.
Copy that.
Amen.
Big thanks, everybody. Yeah. Keep building.
Thank you. I always love the way you end these points. It's really an inspiration for the day.
We need to we need to record your end of the meeting speeches and mint them as an NFT collection because they are fucking solid.
Winverse is recording on a weekly basis, so they're all on YouTube if we really want to do it. But yeah,
Let's go.
NFTs, feel free. You can do that
Hey,
as your contribution.
audio engineers want to send me some files. I'll get minting.
Let's do it. Sounds great. I got a crypto themed album coming out too, so I'll share a sneak peek of that too for the DAO.
Oh, absolutely do. Yeah.
All right. No doubt.
All the best. See you later, everyone.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye for now.
Thank you.